Okay, let's see. Looks like it's working so far. Pretty good. Okay, so let us start with the guitar. All right. Let's see, what should we chant? Oh, here's a good one. Arunodaya Kirtan Part 2, which is also known as Jeev Jago. Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Morat Chanda Bole, Kotanindra, Yamaya, Isajiva Kone, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Morat Chanda Bole. Money I say, samsara vitare, Uliyaru really do me, Apijalarabale, Majivo. Money I say, samsara vitare. No Janna bole Caitanya Maya Di Sajiva Gole Jijago Jijago Janna bole Caitanya Maya Di Sajiva Gole Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paravatakacharya also Teta Satashi Shimad His Divine Grace Savaya Chaitanya the Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Hridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Sai Mukunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Mathuram Ki Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai Munamai Ki Jai Shrimati Lasi Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Haribol All glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is to the assembled devotees. All glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nama Om Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachani Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Teja Tarani. So let me read the translation. Lord Gaurachandra is calling, wake up sleeping soul, wake up sleeping soul. How long do you sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? You have forgotten the way of devotional service and are lost in the cycle of birth and death. I have descended just to save you. I am your only true friend. Other than me, what friend do you have? I have brought the medicine that will wipe out the disease of illusion from which you suffer. Take this great chant for deliverance, Maha Mantra, the names of Hari. So, now we're going to continue with our reading of the Sri Caitanya Caritamrta. We're reading actually from the 19th chapter. Wow. Beginning with text 40, and 19th chapter describes Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic symptoms and his vision of Krishna, his realization of Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani, and his glorification of Krishna's various attributes. And the next chapter is the last chapter, and that's the chapter of the Shikshashtaka, which is really an amazing, amazing chapter. So, here we go. Om Gana Timiranda Shah Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Meditam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master's divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So let's go to the Caitanya Charitamrta. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda, Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda, Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda. So beginning with the 40th verse, let me just make sure. Well, we just skipped a few here. Hold on a second. Yeah, let's go back. Hold on a second. All right. Okay. Here we go. Beginning with text 40. Ekabara yare nayana lage, sadatare hridaya jage, Krishna tanu yena amritata, narimane pashyaya, yatne nahi bariraya, tanu nahi seyaya kulera kanta. If a person's eyes even once capture that beautiful body of Krishna, it remains always prominent within his heart. Krishna's body resembles the sap of the mango tree. For when it enters the minds of women, it will not come out, despite great endeavor. Thus, Krishna's extraordinary body is like a thorn of the siha berry tree. In other words, a thorn enters, and of course it's a pleasant thorn. A thorn enters the body and you just can't get it out. The same way you can't get Krishna out of your consciousness. As Rupa Goswami says, if you desire, at all desire to enjoy society, friendship, or love, don't go to see Krishna playing his flute on the banks of the Keshi Ghat. Because once you see him, your material life is finito. That means finished. Juniya tamala duty, indranila samakanti, se kantite jagatmataya, shingara rasa sarachani, tate chandra jyotsna sani, jani vidi niramilataya. Krishna's bodily luster shines like the Indranila gem and surpasses the luster of the tamal tree. His bodily luster drives the entire world mad because Providence has made it transparent by refining the essence of the mellow of conjugal love and mixing it with moonshine. It's so poetic. Whew. Wow. I mean, it's a poetic expression, not to be taken literally. Kahan se morali dwani, navabre garjita jini, jagata karsi shapaneya harha, utidaya vrajajana, chishita chataka gana, asiye piye kanchamrita dara. The deep vibration of Krishna's flute surpasses the thundering of new clouds and attracts the oral reception of the entire world. Thus the inhabitants of Vrindavan rise and pursue that sound, drinking the showering nectar of Krishna's bodily luster like thirsty chataka birds. Morase kalanidhi pranaraksha mahausaji sakimora teno suritama deyajye tanhavine tike jivane vidikare eta vidambana. Krishna is the reservoir of art and culture, and he is the panacea that saves my life. Panacea means like something that cures everything. The panacea, the cure that saves my life. Oh, my dear friend, since I live without him, who is the best among my friends, I condemn the duration of my life. I think that Providence has cheated me in many ways. Yejana jiti nahi chaya, tare kene jijaya, vidi prati ute goroda shoka, vidhire kare martsana, Krishna dena ulahana, pari bhagavate raika shloka. Why does Providence continue the life of one who does not wish to live? This thought aroused anger and lamentation in Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who then recited a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam that chastises Providence and makes an accusation against Krishna. So this is, of course, man, anger against Krishna, who is in charge of Providence, obviously. Ahovidastava nakvachadaya samyoja maitra pranayena dehina tamsja chakrataradam viyunakshapartakam vichestitam te baka chestitam yata. O Providence, you have no mercy. You bring embodied souls together through friendship and affection, but before their desires are fulfilled, you separate them. Your activities are like foolish pranks of children. Of course, this is in the mood of separation that Radharani is cursing, or the damsels of Vraja are cursing Providence that you bring us together with Krishna, and then you separate us when Krishna goes to Mathura. This verse quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:39-19 was chanted by the damsels of Braja when Krishna left Vrindavana for Mathura with Akrura and Balaram. The gopis lamented that Providence had made it possible for them to meet Krishna and Balaram in affection and love, and had then separated them. Na janis prema marma, vyarta karis parishrama, tora cheshta balaka samana, tora yadi lagpai, tabe tore sikshadi, Emanayena na karish vidana. Providence, you do not know the purport of loving affairs, and therefore you baffle all our endeavors. This is very childish of you. If we could catch you, we would give you such a lesson that you would never again make such arrangements. And this is Divyon Mada, means transcendental madness. They're just getting angry at Providence and saying, we're going to catch you, or if we could catch you, we're going to just teach you a good lesson. Amazing. Arividi tui mara initura anyonya durlabhajana preme karana samilana akritartam kene karistura. O cruel Providence, you are very unkind, for you bring together in love people who are rarely in touch with each other. Then after you have made them meet, but before they are fulfilled, you again spread them far apart. It's cursing Providence. It's interesting, the anger of the gopis towards Providence, or the anger sometimes towards Lord Brahma, because he created eyelids that blink. This is how intense their love is for Krishna. And it doesn't go away. In the material world, sometimes there's beloved and lover who are together, and then there's some separation, but after some time, things cool down. But in the spiritual realm, between Krishna and the gopis, things never cool down, even after hundreds of years. Hari Vidya Karuna Dekhana Krishna Nana Nitramana Lubhaila Mora Shaneke Karite Pana Karinila Nyastana Papa Kaili Data Apahara. O Providence, you are so unkind. You reveal the beautiful face of Krishna, make the mind and eyes greedy, but after they have drunk that nectar for only a moment, you whisk Krishna away to another place. This is a great sin, because you thus take away what you have given as charity. In other words, they're accusing Providence, the time factor, of having bad karma, sinful. Manifestation of anger. Okrokare tomara dosha, maya kene kararosha, durachara tui akrura murtidare Krishna nila churikare anyera nahe aiche vyavahara. O misbehaved providence, if you reply to us Akrura is actually at fault, why are you angry with me? Then I say to you, Providence, you have taken the form of Akrura and have stolen Krishna away. No one else would behave like this, of course. As you know, Akrura was asked by Kamsa to bring Krishna to Mathura. And Akrura, the name means not cruel, but in actuality, he acted in the most cruel fashion. Apanara karmadosha, tori kiba karirosha, toyamoye sambandha vidura, yayamara prananata, ekatrana rahi anrasata, se Krishna hila nitura. But this is the fault of my own destiny. Why should I needlessly accuse you? There is no intimate relationship between you and me. Krishna, however, is my life and soul. It is we who live together, and it is he who has become so cruel. So now the anger is focused on Krishna rather than on providence. And of course, Krishna and providence are, in one sense, the same, in another sense, different. Krishna says he's the time factor. Kalo asmi. Sabatyagi bhajayanre se apanahate mare narevate krishnera nahi bhaya tanura lagayami mare ulati na chahi hari shana matre vangila pranaya. He for whom I have left everything is personally killing me with his own hands. Krishna has no fear of killing women. Indeed, I am dying for him, but he does not even turn back to look at me. Within a moment, he has broken off our loving affairs. Now, see, the anger is... Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, is expressing the anger of Radharani towards Krishna. Krishna kene karirosha, apana durdaiva dosha, vakila mora papa pala, ye Krishna mora premandina, tare kaila udasina, e mora bhagya prabhala. Yet why should I be angry with Krishna? It is the fault of my own misfortune. The fruit of my sinful activities has ripened, and therefore Krishna, who has always been dependent on my love, is now indifferent. This means that my misfortune is very strong. So now taking responsibility for your own misfortune. Matagoro Raya, so the emotions and the focus and the anger keep swelling and going down like the waves in an ocean. Matagoro Raya, Vishade Kara Haya Haya, Ha Krishna Tumi Gelakati, Gopi Baba Hridaye, Taravatye Vilapaye, Govinda Damadara Madhaveti. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lamented in the mood of separation, Alas, alas, O Krishna, where have you gone? Feeling in his heart the ecstatic emotions of the gopis, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu agonized in their words, saying, O Govinda, O Damodar, O Madhava, Tabe Swarupa Ramaraya, Harinana Upaya, Mahaprabhura Karya Shvasana, Gaina Sangama Gita, Prabhura Virai Lakjita, Prabhura Kichu Stira, Hoila Mana. Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy then devised various means to pacify the Lord. They sang songs of meeting that transformed his heart and made his mind peaceful. Ei matak bilapite arda ratri gela, gambirate Swarupa Goswami, Prabhure shohaila. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lamented in this way, half the night passed. Then Swarup Damodar made the Lord lie down in the room known as the Gambhira, deep. Prabhure shoyana Ramananda gelagare, Swarupa Govinda Shvila, Gambhira radhare. After the Lord was made to lie down, Ramananda lay down at the door of the Gambhira to make sure Lord Chaitanya wouldn't get out. Prema Veshe Mahaprabhura Gata Gata Mana Nama Sankirtana Kari Karina Chitarana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed awake all night chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, his mind overwhelmed by spiritual ecstasy. Virahi Vyakula Prabhu Udvege Utila Gambhirara Vitye Mukha Gashite Lagila. Feeling separation from Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so distraught that in great anxiety he stood up and began rubbing his face against the walls of the Gambhira. Wow. Mukhe Gande Nake Shata Haila Para Bhavaveshena Janena Prabhu Parirata Dara. Blood oozed from the many injuries on his mouth, nose, and cheeks, but due to his ecstatic emotions, the Lord did not know it. Sarva Ratri Karena Bhave Mukhe Sanghashana Gon Gon Shavakarena Sarupa Shunila Takana. In ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rubbed his face against the walls all night long, making a peculiar sound, gong gong, which the Rup Damodar could hear through the door. Dipajwale Karigela Teki Prabhura Mukha Swarupa Govinda Dunhara Haila Bhara Dukha. Lighting the lamps, Rup Damodar and Govinda entered the room. When they saw the Lord's face, they were filled with sorrow. Prabhure Shayateyani Shustira Karhaila Kanhe Kaila Hetume Swarupa Puchila. They brought the Lord to his bed, calmed him, and then asked, "Why have you done this to yourself?" Prabhu Kahena Udvege Garena Parirakite Dwara Chai Buli Sigra Bahira Haite. Yeah, at least people can hear me, even if the voice becomes choppy at times. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "I was in such anxiety that I could not stay in the room. I wanted to go out, and therefore I wandered about the room looking for the door." So if it becomes you can't hear me at all, or too choppy to hear, just let me know. Oh, no issue, Rakesh says. Dwaranahi Panamuka Lage Charivite Shatahaya Rata Pare Napai Yaite. Unable to find the door, I kept hitting the four walls with my face. My face was injured and it bled, but I still could not get out. So in other words, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was trying to get out. Wow. Text 65. Unmara Dashaya Prabhuda Stira Nahi Mana Ye Kare Ye Bole Sabha Unmada Lakshana. In this state of madness, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mind was unsteady. Whatever he said or did was all symptomatic of madness. Sarupa Goswami Tabek Chinta Paila Mane Bhaktagana Lana Vichara Kaila Aradine. Swarup Damodar was very anxious, but then he had an idea. The following day, he and the other devotees considered it together. Sababhakta Mele Tabe Prabhore Sadila Shankara Pandite Prabhora Sange Shohaila. After consulting with one another, they entreated Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to allow Shankara Pandit to lie down in the same room with him. Prabhupada Tale Shankara Karena Shayana Prabhutanra Upara Karena Pada Prasarana. Thus Shankara Pandit lay at the feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the Lord placed his legs upon Shankara's body. Prabhupada Padana Bali Tanra Nama Haila Purvi Vidure Yena Sri Shuka Varila. Shankara became celebrated by the name Prabhu Padopadana, the pillow of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was like Vidura, as Shukadeva Goswami previously described him. Iti Brahvanam Viduram Vinitam Sahasra Shirshnas Charano Vadanam Vishnuroma Bhagavat Katayam Paniyamano Muni Avyachashta. When submissive Vidura, the resting place of the legs of Lord Krishna, had thus spoken to Maitreya, Maitreya began speaking, his hair standing on end, due to the transcendental pleasure of discussing topics concerning Lord Krishna. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.13.5. Shankarakarena Prabhupada Sambhana Gumana Padena Tache Karena Shayana. Shankara massaged the legs of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and while massaging he would fall asleep and thus lie down. Udhara Jigange Padya Sankara Nidrayaya Prabhutipana Kantatare Jadaya. He would lie asleep without a covering on his body, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would get up and wrap him with his own quilt. In other words, Lord Chaitanya, all these symptoms of ecstasy, was concerned with the welfare. Sri Chaitanya. Get back on. Okay. We are on again. So, anyway, sorry for that delay. There's an internet glitch. Make sure everybody's still muted. Yeah. Okay, so we are on again. Let me just hold on a second. Let me put the chat window up in case someone has a message. Okay, sorry for that. Let's start sharing again. We just left off in the middle. We got knocked off the line, and okay. Looks like the signal's strong enough now. Oops. Give me 1 second. Okay, let me go back, because we sort of lost everybody. Nirantara Gomaya Shankara Shigra Chaitanya Vasi Para Chapi Kare Ratri Jikarata. Shankara Pandit would always fall asleep, but he would quickly awaken, sit up, and again begin massaging the legs of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this way, he would stay awake the entire night. So dedicated to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he got all the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. Tanrabayena Reina Prabhu Bahireyaite Tanrabayena Reina Biche Mukhabja Gashite. Out of fear of Shankara, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could neither leave his room nor rub his lotus-like face against the walls. Hey Lila Mahaprabhu Raghunatha Das Gauranga Stava Kapavrikshe Kariyache Prakash. This pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been described very nicely by Raghunath Das Goswami in his book known as the Gauranga Stava Kalpavriksha. And of course, Raghunath Das Goswami witnessed all these things. It's not that simply he heard it second hand or third hand. He witnessed these things. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami heard it and also was able to read Raghunath Das Goswami's Gauranga Stava Kalpavriksha. Swakiyasya pranarvura sadrisha gostasya virahat palapanunmadat satatam atikrurvan nikaladi dadhan vidaushashvad vadanavidu garshena udiram shatoltam gorango hridaya udayan mam madayati. Because of separation from his many friends in Vrindavan, who were like his own life, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke like a madman. His intelligence was transformed day and night. He rubbed his moon-like face against the walls and blood flowed from the injuries. May that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rise in my heart and make me mad with love. This verse, of course, is from Raghunath Das Goswami's Gauranga Stava Kalpavriksha. Hey Mata Mahaprabhu Ratri Divase Prema Sindhu Magni Rahi Kabu Dubevase. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed immersed day and night in an ocean of ecstatic love for Krishna. Sometimes he was submerged and sometimes he floated. Eka Kale Vashakera Purnamasi Dine Ratri Kale Mahaprabhu Chalila Udyane. On one full moon night in the month of Vaishaka, April-May, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to a garden. Jagannatha Balaba Nama Udyana Pradana Pravesha Karila Prabhu Lana Bhakta Gana. The Lord, along with his devotees, entered one of the nicest gardens called the Jagannath Balaba Garden. Prapulita Vrikshavale Yena Vrindavana Shukasari Pika Bringa Kari Alapana. In the garden were fully blossomed trees and creepers exactly like those in Vrindavana. Bumblebees and birds like the Shuka, Shadi, and Pika talked with one another. Pushpaganda Lanavahe Malaya Pavana Guruhana Taru Lataya Shikaya Nachana. A mild breeze was blowing, carrying the fragrance of aromatic flowers. The breeze had become a guru and was teaching all the trees and creepers how to dance. Purna Chandra Chandrikaya Paramahujvala Tarulatari Jyotshnaya Kari Jalamala. Being illuminated by the full moon, the trees and creepers glittered in the light. Chaya Ritugana Yahan Vashanta Pradhana Teki Anandita Kaila Gaura Bhagavan. The 6 seasons, especially spring, seem present there. Seeing the garden, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was very happy. Lalita Lavangalata Padagoyana Richakari Burena Prabhu Nijagana Lana. In this atmosphere, the Lord had his associates sing the verse from the Gita Govinda beginning with the words Lalita Lavanga Lata, as he danced and wandered about with them. Prati Vriksha Valayache Brahmate Brahmate Vishokera Tale Krishna Dekena Achambite. As he wandered around every tree and creeper, he came beneath an ashok tree and suddenly saw Krishna. Krishna Deki Mahaprabhu Dana Chalila Agi Deki Hasi Krishna Antaradana Haila. When he saw Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began running very swiftly, but Krishna smiled and disappeared. Agi Paila Krishna Tanre Punaharana Umete Padila Prabhu Murchita Hana. Having gotten Krishna and then lost him, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell to the ground unconscious. Krishna Rashyanga Gande Parichayu Dhyana Se Gandapana Prabhu Haila Chaitane. The entire garden was filled with the scent of Lord Sri Krishna's transcendental body. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smelled it, he fell unconscious at once. Hiranturanasaya Pashe Krishna Padimala Gandhashvadi De Prabhu Pahila Pagala. But the scent of Krishna's body necessarily entered his nostrils, incessantly entered his nostrils, and the Lord became mad to relish it. Krishna Ganda Lubda Radha Shakiraye Kahila Sheshloka Padi Prabhu Arta Kahila. Srimati Radharani once spoke a verse to her gopi friends describing how she hankers for the transcendental scent of Krishna's body. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited that same verse and made its meaning clear. Kurangamala Jin Babu Padimalormi Krishnangana Swakanga Nandinaste Shashi Utabja Gandha Prata Madentu Vara Chandana Guru Sugandhe Chacharachita Same Matanamohana Sakitanoti Nasa Spraham. The scent of Krishna's transcendental body surpasses the aroma of musk and attracts the minds of all women. The 8 lotus-like parts of his body distribute the fragrance of lotuses mixed with that of camphor. His body is anointed with aromatic substances like musk, camphor, sandalwood, and aguru. My dear friend, that person also known as the enchanter of Cupid always induces the desire. At least I knocked that off. Okay. The internet connection is a little bit unstable. Okay, so this verse is from the Govinda Lilamrita, 8.6. Kosturika nilopala taraye parimala tahajini krishnanga kanda pyapade choda bhuvane kare sarva karshane nariganera angi kare anta. The scent of Krishna's body surpasses the fragrances of musk and the bluish lotus flower. Spreading throughout the 14 worlds, it attracts everyone and makes the eyes of all women blind. Saki he Krishna Ganda Jagat Mataya Narira Nasati Pashe Sarvakala Natan Vaishe Krishna Pasha Dari Lanakyaya. My dear friend, the scent of Krishna's body enchants the entire world. It especially enters the nostrils of women and remains seated there. Thus it captures them and forcibly brings them to Krishna. Netrana Vivadana Kari Yuga Charana Ayashta Padma Krishna Ange Karpura Lipta Kamala Taralyachi Parimala Segana Hashta Padma Sange. Krishna's eyes, navel and face, hands and feet are like 8 lotus flowers on his body. From those 8 lotuses emanates a fragrance like a mixture of camphor and lotus. That is the scent associated with his body. Amazing poetry. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Remember, he's about 80 or 90 years old when he's writing this. And his mind is as sharp as anything. And he's practically blind. He mentions this in the Caitanya Caritamrta, that practically speaking he has trouble seeing anything. Hema kilita chandana taha karigarshana tahaya guru kunkuma kasturi kaprasane chachayange purvangera ganda sange militare yena kaila churi. When sandalwood pulp is mixed with agru, kumkuma, musk, and camphor and spread on Krishna's body, it combines with Krishna's own original bodily perfume and seems to cover it. In another version, the last line of this verse reads, Kamade Veramana Kaila Churi. This means the scent of all these substances mixes with the previous scent of Krishna's body and steals away the mind of Cupid. Of course, Krishna is known as Madan Mohan. he who actually attracts or steals away the mind of Cupid. And Radharani is known as Madan Mohan Mohini, she who attracts and steals the mind of Krishna. Hari Narira Tanuna Mana Nasakare Gurnana Kasaya Nivi Chutaya Kesha Manda Karyage Mori Nachaya Jagadnari Hena Dakatya Krishnanga Ganda. The scent of Krishna's transcendental body is so attractive that it enchants the bodies and minds of all women. It bewilders their nostrils, loosens their belts and hair, and makes them mad women. All the women of the world come under its influence, and therefore the scent of Krishna's body is like a plunderer. And if someone becomes attracted to Krishna and Krishna's body, one will not be interested at all in mundane man-woman or woman-man relationships. Se Gandhavasanasa Sada Kare Gandhera Sha Kabu Paya Kabu Nahi Paya Paile Pia Petagvare Pina Pina Tabu Kare Na Paile Trishnaya Mari Ya. Falling completely under its influence, the nostrils yearn for it continuously, although sometimes they obtain it and sometimes not. When they do drink their fill, though, they still want more and more, but if they don't, then out of thirst they die. Intense emotions. Madana Mohana Nata Pasira Gandhera Hata Jagannari Grahate Lobaya Vinaya Mulye Dea Gandha Gandha Diye Karayanda Kara Yaite Pata Nahi Paya. The dramatic actor Madana Mohan has opened a shop of scents that attracts the women of the world to be his customers. He delivers the scents freely, but they make the women all so blind they cannot find the path returning home. E Matakora Hari Gandhi Kaila Manachuri Bringa Paya Iti Uti Daya Yaya Vriksha Late Latapashe Krishna Spore Seyashe Krishna Na Paya Ganda Matra Paya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mind, thus stolen by the scent of Krishna's body, ran here and there like a bumblebee. He ran to the trees and plants, hoping that Lord Krishna would appear, but instead he only found that scent. That is the scent of Krishna. Sarupa Ramanandagaya Prabhu Nache Sukapaya Emate Prata Kala Haila Sarupa Ramanandavraya Karinana Upaya Mahaprabhu Bhaya Spurti Kaila. Both Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy sang to the Lord, who danced and enjoyed happiness until the morning arrived. Then these two associates of the Lord devised the plan to bring him to external consciousness. Matri Bhakti Pralapana Biche Mukhe Garchana Krishna Gandas Puruje Divyanracha Echari Lila Bede Gaila Parichede Krishna Das Rupa Goshani Vraja. Thus I, Krishnadas, the servant of Srila Rupa Goswami, have sung of the four divisions of the Lord's pastimes in this chapter: the Lord's devotion to his mother, his words of madness, his rubbing his face against the walls at night, and his dancing at the appearance of Lord Krishna's fragrance. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that he has been able to describe these four pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with the blessings of Srila Rupa Goswami. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was not actually a direct disciple of Srila Rupa Goswami, but he followed the instructions given by Srila Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He therefore acted according to the directions of Srila Rupa Goswami and prayed in every chapter for his mercy. Emata Mahaprabhu Panachetana Snanakari like Kaila Jagannatha Darashana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus returned to external consciousness. He then bathed and went to see Lord Jagannath. And I think we'll end here unless that's the end of the chapter. It's probably close to the end of the chapter. Let me just check. And then we could just finish the chapter. The chapter has 112 verses. And let's see. Whoops. And we are on 103. Let's finish the chapter tomorrow. and then we'll go into the next chapter tomorrow. Okay, so now we will stop sharing and allow you all to ask a few questions. Okay, right now you're all allowed to unmute yourselves. So it's very esoteric. I don't expect many questions about this. So does anyone have any questions? Just type in your question or raise your hand or unmute yourself. Otherwise we can end early. So going once, going twice, going... Okay, go Paul, you have a question.
Please accept my obeisance, Srila Gurudev. I've
Okay.
always wondered why the gopis sometimes refer to Krishna as Madhava, when Madhava means the husband of the goddess of fortune.
It also, Madhu means bee. You know, it's not sweet.
I see.
So it doesn't only mean, it means a variety of things, but one thing is it means bee, like sweet. Madhu.
Thank you, Gurudev.
Okay. If there's no other questions, we can end. I'm sorry for the internet connection tonight. So hopefully the internet will be working later today. So, all glories to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami.